What's going on, guys? This is Mike, the Detroit Borg, with a look at the new Amazon Kindle Fire. This is Amazon's first tablet computer. This isn't just an e-ink display, so they've really gone to the next level with a full tablet computer. This is 7 inches, has a 1 gigahertz core dual core processor, 512 megs of RAM, and 8 gigs of internal storage. Now, any Kindle owner will recognize this packaging. This is how it's delivered to your doorstep. Amazon calls this frustration-free packaging, so all you have to do in order to get into this is just rip this tab. And there is the Kindle Fire. So here we have the Kindle Fire in its packaging, and I already turned it on, and I have no idea how I did that, so I must have pressed something, but there are no physical buttons. So anyway, it's turned on. So let's just put this aside for just a quick minute so we can take a look to see what else is in the packaging. So it looks like we have our charger. So this is just a micro USB connector with a wall adapter. So this is permanently fixed. And we also have some literature up here, but it looks like we have a little packaging fail because it's cemented into the packaging. So I'm not sure how we're going to get that out of there, but looks like I'm out. Oh, there we go. All right. So getting to know your Kindle. So this is just a quick guide on how to use your Kindle. So we have a headphone input, the connector for the USB cable or power cable, and we have the power button, which is what I probably hit on the bottom right there. So that must be the power button. And on the back we have our Amazon terms and policies, and that's all there is to the packaging. It's also very eco-friendly. It's made entirely out of cardboard and paper products. Now with the Kindle already turned on, let's just unwrap the packaging here. Taking a look at the Kindle, you can see the front is entirely glass, and if we look closely at the bezel, you can see there's sort of a gasket around it, so it sort of floats in this frame. And the frame is just a shiny black plastic. On the back you have this matte plastic, which is has a nice grippable texture. It's very familiar to any Kindle owner. We also have an ambient light sensor in the upper left corner. On the top we have our stereo speakers. On the bottom we have our USB connector, headphone jack, and the power button, which we're already familiar with. And that's all there is to it. There's no volume controls on the side. There's no camera. You know, it's a pretty simple, straightforward device. It's got a very simple form. It's just a flat back. It's got a nice curve around the back, so this kind of reminds me of the iPod Classics. It's got that similar design. Now to unlock it, all you have to do is swipe your finger across the screen. Now, the first thing it wants me to do is connect to my network, so let's go to Time Capsule. Enter my password. So we have our keyboard here. Now we're connected to my network, so let's select our time zone. I'm in Eastern Standard Time. Now what's interesting here is I did not have to go through the login process to set up my Kindle with Amazon. Because I purchased this online, it automatically registered my Kindle for me. In fact, last night I got an email from Amazon congratulating me on registering my new Kindle, even though I didn't have it yet. So I knew they had already done that for me. Now the first order of business is to update the software, which is happening automatically. It's recommending that I connect the AC adapter, so let me go ahead and do that. Now when you connect the power supply, the power button actually lights up, and when it's this amber color, it's still charging. When it's green, it's fully charged. Now once you've updated your Kindle, it reboots and brings you right to this little tutorial, walks you through how the Kindle works. So we're going to go to next. Now here we are at the home screen, and you can see it's geared toward Amazon's content. It's not like an Android device where the apps are the main focus. So here we have at the very top, we have Michael's second Kindle. I'm not sure why it's called my second Kindle, because I certainly have more than 2. I actually think I have 4 at this point. But up here we also have the time, and we have our settings icon. So if we tap that, we get to our settings. We also have the Wi-Fi icon, and we have the battery indicator. Down here we have the carousel, which is where all our content lives, as well as the apps. Down here is our favorites shelf. So we only have 4 here right now, but they're basically apps that launch. So for example, if we want to go to, let's go to the Steve Jobs bio. Tap that. It's downloading it right now. So this is downloading because it's a previous purchase that has not been downloaded to my Kindle. So if I tap that, it brings me right to it. And I can start browsing. And as you can see, it's also available in landscape mode, so there is a built-in accelerometer. Now to return back to the home screen, just tap anywhere on the screen and tap the home icon. That brings me back. Now if you want to add a carousel item to your favorites, just tap and hold it, and you get the option to add to favorites. So now it appears down here. Now let's just start browsing some of these items, and we're going to start with newsstand. Now this is pretty straightforward. Again, you have these shelves here which are currently empty, but if you had subscriptions, they would appear here. If you want to go and buy some subscriptions, just click the store. And it takes you to a listing of recommended titles, or you can search. So let's just search for Motor Trend. So there's Motor Trend, and that's 99 cents an issue. And I can subscribe or just buy the current issue. Let's go back home, go to books. This is also very straightforward. You see my library here, and you can go to store to start shopping for new titles. So here you can see a list of top books or recommended books, and of course you can search as well. What we're going to do is just go to Hunger Games, and you can see the purchasing mechanism here. So you can buy for $4.69, or you can borrow for free if you're an Amazon Prime member, or you can try a sample. Now, while that's downloading, we can also see we get a little description down here, as well as similar titles that customers have recommended or purchased. We have the ratings and reviews down below, so it's very much like the Amazon website. So let's go back home and go to music. So of course you can also purchase music through Amazon. Right now I have no music on this device, so it can't give me a listing of content there, but let's go to Shop Music Store. So again, we have all of the recommended titles or the best sellers, so we can search by best sellers. And then if we want, we can go ahead and buy them. So let's go back. New releases. Back. Genres, so we can navigate by genre. So you can see a wide variety of genres here. Again, this is very similar to the Amazon website. Now let's search Coldplay. One of my favorites. So we have Milo Zailoto. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but if I want to purchase that, we can do so from here. So let's tap that and buy. So right now it's charging this to my Amazon account, downloading it to my Amazon account. So it's now in the cloud and I can listen to it on this device. So let's go to my library. I should have music here now. So we have a little media player here with a volume scrubber. Play, pause, skip. Pretty cool. Now you can also play back audio while you're doing other things such as reading a book. So in order to control that, all you have to do is tap the settings icon, and it brings you your media player. So you click play. And let's go to another document. So you can read while you're listening to Coldplay. And it's a little too loud, so let's turn that down a bit. There you go. The only drawback here is every time you want to change the volume, you have to bring this up to do so. Now, the great thing about the Amazon Kindle Fire is that it has stereo speakers, which is unusual in this segment, especially at $200, so audio is quite good for a tablet this cheap. Now next up is video. So here we can go to the Amazon Video Store, so we can purchase movies, or if you're an Amazon Prime member, you have some free streaming options. So if we go to Lost here, come on, Lost. And let's go to Pilot Part 1. And we're going to play from the beginning. Now as you can see, because the Amazon Kindle is 16:9 aspect ratio, the video fills the entire screen. So of course you have a scrubber here, and it's still downloading it. But for the portions that have downloaded, you can scrub it. Come on, play. It doesn't work that great. There you go. And you can change the volume. Thanks. And let's go back home. Now, next up is Docs, which allows you to send items to an email address, which I don't want to bring up because it shows the email address. But if you do so, they will appear on your Amazon Kindle converted in a format that it can read. So we're going to skip that, but it's essentially like bringing up your book library. Now, next up is Apps. Now this is surprisingly extensive. So if I go to the store, I have quite a few things that you'll recognize if you're an iPad user or an iPhone user. So we have Angry Birds, we have a lot of good games, Plants vs. Zombies, Cut the Rope, Fruit Ninja, and you can see it's categorized according to top paid and top free. And we also have some categories up here such as entertainment, lifestyle, games, etc. So let's just do a free game. Let's do Angry Birds free. We're going to get the app. So now that purchase is done, we can tap our notifications up here. It's telling us that the Angry Birds is installing. We can click on that and launch. So now we can start playing Angry Birds. Now, of course, there are far more apps than just games, including Netflix, so we can install Netflix, and we definitely want that. And we have other options like Pandora and Evernote and Hulu Plus, so there's quite a few things here. A lot of the things you've come to expect on iOS and Android are also available from the start on the Amazon Kindle Fire. Now, next up is Web. So if we tap Web, it launches our web browser, which is a tabbed web browser that works both in portrait and landscape mode. So if we want to add a tab, just do so that way. You can see, looks like some items I've already browsed to before. Looks like we can go to Wikipedia. Or we can enter in an entirely new address. So let's go to apple.com. So here we have Apple's website, and we can pinch to zoom, move it around. It works pretty well. Now the browser does have some limitations. So for example, we have some of these video links down here right below the iPhone 4. So if we try and tap on one of them, it looks like you can't quite handle it. So you can't play back video on the website. Normally this would play back on an iPad or an iPhone or an Android device, but the plugins or the apps aren't there to launch the video. So there are going to be some web navigation or web browsing limitations with the Kindle Fire. Now my initial impression of the Amazon Kindle is favorable. It's certainly not a fully featured tablet, but it has a very simple user interface. It's designed entirely for Amazon content, so you got to keep that in mind, that really this is for Amazon users. This isn't meant to be an iPad or an Android tablet. This is meant to serve their content, so it's geared that way. But as more apps are added, certainly that possibility of using this as more than just an Amazon portal becomes greater. So you can do social networking. You certainly have a fairly full-featured web browser, although without more app support right now, there's some limitations to it. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this unboxing and first look at the Amazon Kindle Fire. I will have more in terms of comparisons with the other devices, including the Nook and the iPad 2 in a future video, so stay tuned for that. So once again guys, this is Mike, the Detroit Borg. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.